He mentioned her exactly once. It was late by the account of the person who was there, and the conversation had drifted into the territory that only opens after midnight, when the guard a man keeps over himself all day finally tires and slips. They had been talking about regret, the roads not taken, and Elon Musk, who almost never speaks of such things, went quiet, then said something the person across from him never forgot. "There was a woman once," he said. "I saw her for maybe 5 minutes. I never spoke to her, and I have thought about her, on and off, for 20 years. That was all. He gave no name because he never had one. No details because the details were his. He simply said it the way a man confesses something he has carried alone for a long time, and then changed the subject and never raised it again. But the sentence stayed in the room. A man who can summon almost anything in the world, build rockets, move markets, reach across continents with a single message, had let one ordinary woman walk past him 2 decades ago and had never gotten over it. This is the story of the love that never happened, and of why, sometimes, that is the love a person holds on to hardest of all. It was years ago now. The exact when does not matter, and he has never said it precisely. Long enough ago that he was not yet the most famous man in any room. Long enough ago that he could still stand in an ordinary place and go unrecognized, just another tired man in a crowd of tired people. It was somewhere unremarkable, an airport perhaps, in the dead hours between flights, a station, the lobby of some forgettable building in some forgettable city, on one of the 1,000 trips that blur together in the life of a man always going somewhere. He was exhausted, the way he was almost always exhausted then, carrying something heavy, a deal, a deadline, a company that might not survive the month. His mind was somewhere else, the way it always was. And then he looked up, and there she was. She was not doing anything remarkable. That is the part he has never been able to explain. She was not performing, not aware of being looked at. She was simply there, in the middle of an ordinary moment, doing some small, ordinary thing, reading or waiting or looking out a window at the gray light of a day that was ending. And something in Elon Musk, the man who was always somewhere else, came all the way back into the room. For the length of a few minutes, he was not thinking about the deal or the deadline or the company that might not survive. He was not thinking about Mars or money or the 1,000 things that usually filled every cubic inch of his attention. He was just looking at a stranger across a room, feeling something he had no name for, could not have predicted, and would never quite manage to forget. People who have never felt it do not believe it is real. They think love, or whatever this was, requires time, conversation, knowing a person. And the lasting kind does. It is built slowly, brick by brick, over years. But there is another, rarer kind that arrives in an instant, fully formed, with no information at all to support it. A sudden, total recognition of another human being across a room full of strangers. It makes no sense. It cannot be defended. It is not, in any practical way, even real. And yet anyone who has felt it knows it is among the most real things that ever happened to them. What did he notice? He has never said much, but it is always the same kinds of things. The way she held herself, some quality of stillness in a moving world, an expression that suggested an inner life as large and private as his own. Some unprovable, instantaneous certainty that here was a person who would have understood him. Not the famous him. There were not yet magazine covers. Just him. The tired one. The lonely one. The one nobody ever quite reached. He looked at a stranger and for a few impossible minutes felt seen by someone who had not even spoken to him. And then the moment began, the way all moments do, to end. Here is where the story turns, the part that has haunted him. He did not move. He saw her. He felt whatever it was he felt. And then he stood exactly where he was, and he let the minutes pass, and he did not cross the room. It would have been so simple. A few steps, a few words, the most ordinary thing in the world, a man saying hello to a woman, the way human beings have started 10 billion love stories since the beginning of time. Nothing stopped him but the thing that stops all of us in the moments that matter most. He hesitated. Maybe he told himself he was being foolish, that she was a stranger, that he was passing through, that the whole thing was a fantasy his exhausted mind had conjured from a few minutes and a trick of the light. Maybe he told himself he did not have time. He never had time, and that this, like so many human things, could wait for a later season that always seemed to be coming and never quite arrived. Or maybe it was sadder than that. Maybe the boy who had been taught in a hard house and a hard schoolyard that reaching out was dangerous, that to want something was the first step toward being denied it. Maybe that boy was still inside him, still afraid, still certain that the safest thing to do with the longing was to swallow it. Whatever the reason, the minutes ran out. She finished whatever she had been doing, gathered herself, and walked out of his life without ever knowing she had been in it. He watched her go, and he did not follow. The door closed, the moment was over, and the rest of his life began, carrying, from that day on, the small permanent weight of the door he had not walked through. Why did he let her go? It is the question at the center of the story, and the answer is more revealing than any rocket he has ever built. Part of it was the simple paralysis that strikes all of us at the worst possible moment. We have all stood where he stood, felt the pull toward another person, and, at the same instant, the cold hand of our own fear close around it. Most of the great missed moments of a life are not dramatic. They are just a person standing still when they should have moved. But with him, there was something more. By that point, Elon Musk had already made a quiet bargain with himself, the same one he would go on making for decades. The personal things, the human things, the soft things, would have to wait. There was too much to build, too much at stake. The future of entire industries, in his own mind, the future of the species, sat on his shoulders. And a man carrying that cannot afford to stop in an airport and talk to a stranger. So he chose the work. He always did. He did not know, standing there, that he was making a choice at all. It did not feel like one. It felt like the only thing a serious man could do. But that is how the largest choices of a life are usually made, not in a dramatic moment of decision, but in a small moment of not deciding, of letting the easier path carry you forward, while the harder, truer one quietly closes. He chose the work. It rewarded him beyond all measure, made him one of the most powerful people who has ever lived. And it cost him, among many other things, the woman across the room, and every woman like her he would let pass in all the busy years to come. The years that followed were the loudest a life can hold. The companies, the rockets, the fortune that grew past comprehension, the fame that arrived and then metastasized into something stranger than fame, until he could not walk through any room on earth without every head turning. And somewhere in all of it, the small memory stayed. It did not announce itself often. Most of the time it slept, buried under the avalanche of his enormous life. But it would surface, now and then, in the quiet hours, a sleepless night, a long flight, one of those rare moments when a busy man has nothing to distract him from the accounting of his own heart. In those moments, sometimes, she would return. The woman from the room, the few minutes, the door he had not walked through. And he would wonder, the way we all wonder about the roads not taken, what might have happened, who she was, where she went, whether she had ever even once thought of the tired man who looked at her across a room and said nothing. She had no idea, of course. To her, if she remembered the moment at all, he was a stranger who glanced at her once 1,000 years ago. She had gone on and lived her whole life with no idea that a version of her, frozen at the age she had been living all this time in the memory of a man the whole world would come to know. He could have found her. This is the detail that makes the whole story almost unbearable. The part that separates his missed connection from the ordinary ones the rest of us carry. Because most of us, when we let someone walk away, truly lose them. The trail goes cold the instant the door closes, and we are left with the memory and the wondering. But Elon Musk is not most of us. He commands resources that border on the unimaginable, systems and technologies that can locate almost anyone. If there is a man alive who could take a handful of details, a place, an approximate date, a face held perfectly in memory, and actually find a stranger from 20 years ago, it is him. He has never done it. He has never run the search, never made the call, never turned even a fraction of his vast machinery toward the one human question that has quietly followed him for 2 decades. And the reason is the most human thing about him. He does not want to find her. Not because he has stopped caring, the opposite. He has not found her precisely because of how much that few-minute moment still means to him. Some part of him understands that the moment is perfect exactly as it is, sealed and unspoiled, and that to find her now would be to risk it. She would be older, with a whole life he was never part of. She might not remember the moment at all. She might be, in the ordinary way of real people, simply a person, and not the luminous stranger who has lived untouched in his memory for 20 years. So he leaves her where she is, perfect, unfound, his. What does she actually mean to him, this woman he never met? She is not really a woman anymore. Over 20 years, the few-minute stranger has slowly become a symbol, the keeper of an entire road not taken. She is the life he did not live. When he thinks of her, he is not thinking about a person whose name he never learned. He is thinking about the version of himself who might have crossed that room, who put a human moment ahead of the work just once, who learned early that you are allowed to reach for what you want, that a tired man in an airport is allowed to walk up to a stranger and simply say hello. That version of him never got to exist. The boy from the hard house made sure of it, and the relentless engine of his ambition sealed it. So she has become the ghost of that other life, the gentle human one he was never able to choose. Every time she surfaces, she asks the same silent question, the one he has spent his whole life outrunning. What would it have cost you just once to stop? He has never answered her, but he keeps her there in the quiet room of his memory, asking. There is a particular grief reserved for the loves that never happened. The loves that ended, at least, were real. They had substance. They can be mourned, learned from, eventually set down. But the love that never began, the one made entirely of a few minutes and a lifetime of wondering, has no body to bury. It just goes on, quietly, forever, because it was never given the chance to become anything that could end. This is the kind of love Elon Musk has carried, and here is the sad truth at the heart of it. It may be the purest love of his life. Not the deepest, it was only minutes long, but the only one never touched by the things that wear love down. It was never tested by an ordinary Tuesday. It never had to survive his impossible schedule, his absences, the machine of his ambition that has strained or broken nearly every real relationship he has had. It stayed perfect because it was never lived. And maybe that is its own tragedy, that the most untouched love in the life of one of the most powerful men on earth is the one he never allowed himself to have. That with all his power and reach, the one thing he could never quite do was the simplest of all. Walk across a room, say hello, let himself want something human out loud and risk being told no. He could build a rocket that lands itself on a pillar of fire. He could not, on one ordinary afternoon, cross a room toward a stranger. So why does he keep her there after 20 years, an unnamed stranger occupying a quiet room in the mind of one of the busiest men alive? I think it is because she is the last soft thing. A man like that loses access over the years to so much of what makes the rest of us human. His time stops being his own. His face stops being his own. Every relationship gets filtered through the distorting lens of who he is and what he has. He can never again be sure, when someone looks at him with warmth, whether they see him or the empire around him. But the woman in the room saw him before any of that, or he believes she would have. Just the man, the tired, ordinary, unfamous man. And because he never spoke to her, because he never let the moment become real, it can never be taken from him, never complicated, never spoiled by the machinery of his life. She is the one person who could have known him purely, and he keeps her that way, unfound, unnamed, perfect, because she is proof that once, for a few minutes, he was just a person who felt something simple and true. We spend so much time arguing about what Elon Musk wants. Mars, power, money, to win. Maybe, underneath all of it, he wanted what everyone wants, to be seen completely by one other person. And maybe the closest he came was a few minutes across a room 20 years ago with someone whose name he will never know. So if there is a moment you let pass, a door you did not walk through, a person you never said hello to, you are not alone. Even the most powerful man on earth is still standing in that airport, in some quiet corner of himself, watching her go. The difference is, you might still have time to cross the room. If this story found something in you, you belong here. Subscribe and stay with me. There are more of these still to come.